Welcome everybody to this event of VBS talking about real estate and blockchain and how it will impact and how we all see it, whether it's ready, how it will influence people, things like that. So very quickly, we are on live. Why is it echoing back? Everybody to this event. I'm getting feedback. There's a feedback on the line. Someone's got a live thing going on. Is that you again, Adrian?
I don't think so.
Live? Someone's got something going on there that I can hear myself on it. Okay, so someone's got the live event going on. Okay, not to worry. No. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes,
Adrian?
here.
Okay, fine.
Yep.
Let's try again. I think it's got cleared out. Okay, so myself, I'll moderate, but also help because I've got like 30 years experience in real estate. And about 5 years ago, I started doing a real estate blockchain project, and I delayed it for many reasons, but I won't go into that now. So if everyone can just quickly, 1 minute, the strategy or the way we'd like to handle this session is not to give too much of a big sales pitch, because I saw a previous presenter who was just reading his company pitch. So please try and avoid reading company pitches, and let's get down to real content and give value to the audience. Adrian, go for it. You're first.
Oh, hello, everybody. Thanks, Mru. It's a pleasure and delighted to be here in this panel. I'm joining you now from Calgary, from Canada, and happy to answer any questions that you might have. Go directly into probably the topic of the question that has to do with real estate investments and crowdfunding. And I would probably even open it up to go beyond that with the entire real estate ecosystem.
Absolutely.
That we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Absolutely. That's where we want to go as well. Right. You saw the questions I've sent on the email. Who's next? Damien?
Hello, everyone. My name is Damien Fontanill. I represent Tokeny, the leading European tokenization platform. I support business development for France, UK, and Italy. And Tokeny provides issuers for the issuance and management of security token in a fully compliant way. We are very active in the field of real estate. We have had several projects, and I'll be very happy to discuss with you past examples and future projects of real estate and tokenization.
Okay, great. Thank you, Damien. Who else have we got? Claudio, Artem, and Jesus has switched off.
Hello,
Artem?
everybody. My name is Artem Trofimenko.
By the way, we don't have video for you and Damien. Yeah?
Yes,
so,
yes. I will explain why. I'm
okay,
here
not a problem.
Not in a speaker capacity today. Today, I'm only as a support function.
Okay.
And I am actually we're working to get another speaker on board of this panel right now. I'm just coordinating these things. So,
okay, in that case, Adrian, me, and Damien can carry on. Just to apologize on behalf of Sebastiao, he's having some transmission problems out in Bahrain, but I'm an advisor to his real estate project, which is one of the few projects he's involved in. I'll let him explain it in some detail when he's here, if he joins us. So, Adrian, let's kick off with you. I mean, what do you think? Do you think there are small challenges on blockchain? Because you mentioned the ecosystem, and I fully agree it. As I said, 5 years ago, I'd started this, and 2 years ago, I dropped my whole e-property wealth ecosystem that I was building for many reasons. But where do you see the role of blockchain and the role of this whole ecosystem with crypto as well as blockchain for the investment community? Where do you see it? And take it as wild as possible, because we need to disrupt this market. 250 trillion market, okay?
Yeah, that's a huge market. So in comparison, looking up at the coin market cap the other day, I think it was like about 250 billion. So just about 1,000 times higher it is by far the largest asset class in the world.
Trillion, not billion. Sorry
yeah,
to correct you.
No, no need to correct me. I was mentioning that the coin market cap, the entire crypto market, would be in a 250 billion, while the real estate asset market class, it's in the 250 trillion. Just about 1,000 times higher. It is quite big. You know, from an age standpoint, I think that this particular asset class caters more to people that are probably 30, 40, 50 years older, 60 years older, and so on. It's more stable. That particular age group in this moment has not penetrated heavily into the cryptocurrency. From an ecosystem standpoint, the opportunities are huge.
Absolutely.
If we talk only about title fraud, which is a huge cost for people that are transacting in the real estate, preventing the deed and counter fraud will be probably one of the best case scenarios. The decentralization of multiple listing systems, tokenization of those local multiple listing systems probably would be also another one. Crowdfunding investment, it's picking up a lot of speed. So I understood that you're advising George on this. So I would assume that one of the current use case scenarios, and most likely done also by Damien at Tokeny, is to tokenize the assets, that ultimately lead to faster and easier transfer. So opportunities are tremendous. Mortgage fraud, just to mention another one, the ability to tap into mortgage insurance, is just limitless. But to come to this, to come to the point where actually the whole thing will start making sense, I would throw in the idea that eventually, at one point, it might be useful that the actual title, the actual deed, could be represented by a token. Could be represented by a token that has behind it a smart contract, because property goes beyond the transfer of the title. When we look at it, and this will be probably somewhat easier compared to other applications, it has to do with surface rights. If we would go, for example, into mineral rights, the whole thing is becoming even more and more complicated. But for surface rights, obviously, you talk about encumbrances, you talk about right of ways. So the ability to have clarity and purchase and transfer that particular title and understand if there is cloud or no cloud onto it, I think that's something that it's worth pursuing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. So before we involve Damien or Jesus, someone, so my view, as I said 5 years ago when I started, the big challenges I had, it's okay. You can take a building and tokenize it. This is not new. I started this 30 years ago, and we just created, a company, and in a crowd fund, we didn't even call it crowd fund in those days, and a bunch of people invested, and everyone got a share based on their investment on that project, and the rest of it was all manual, with lots of middlemen, from lawyers to conveyances people, and all the gamut of people that is involved in doing a typical transaction. And it gets even more complicated when you're doing commercial and leasing and rentals and all that. So my view and my stumbling challenges at the time, and I'd like to hear from Damien, is, okay, you can do it, but it is still not automated. The amount of trust on chain and off chain, these are the big challenges that is stopping this biggest market. 250 trillion is not a joke, is stopping it from really getting the maximum out of blockchain with APIs into lawyers, conveyancing people, title deeds, payments, banks, mortgages, all these kind of people to come into a single integrated client-focused need. And then, investment and the return of investment, how it's done. That ecosystem, I do not see as an easy thing to do on-chain and off-chain in a good, happy media. So Damien, if you have some solution or experiences along that, I think the users would love to hear about that.
Yes, thank you very much for your comments, both of you. Yeah, it's true that real estate is really an off-chain asset.
Correct.
And so then to digitize it, sometimes there are regulated functions that are performed by intermediaries. So the challenge is really to bring these infrastructures to all the stakeholders so that they can participate, join the ecosystem, bring their competence, bring their network, bring the volumes, bring the clients in order to really put this industry, the real estate industry, into the blockchain. On our side, we did already converted the ownership of a building in Luxembourg on the blockchain. We also support crowdfunding platform for mezzanine finance in Germany, targeted at retail investors. So we are really pushing for this solution and this wider adoption by investors. And that's one of the benefits of blockchain, which is fractionalization. I mean, allow individual investors to invest in real estate for small amounts, facilitate for real estate agents the onboarding of investors at the local and international dimension, facilitate the onboarding. Regarding to fraud, team up with the right partners for KYC, AML to really improve the selection of customers and investors. And one interesting aspect also that allows blockchain is to provide transparency on the assets. You can put some relevant information about the property, like rents, commercial performance of the assets, that would help potential investors or existing investors to evaluate these assets, to monitor these assets. Because in the States, you know, there are pricing models, and if you can feed the data to these models, then blockchain can really bring transparency, data enhancements, and better valuation of real estate buildings and properties.
Yes, I mean, I agree. Those are the things that are benefits, which I said in the beginning. There are hundreds and thousands of benefits, cutting the REITs of this world, you know, and the big banks and all these people, because you could even eventually do peer-to-peer loans right the way through to sharing, whether it's rent or a buy, sell, flip scenario, or if it's just a simple buy, own, and subletting through HMO types of scenarios. The point I'm trying to make is I don't see that solution, and that's why I dropped it 2 years ago, because there's a lot of off-chain people, and you touched on it, who don't allow it to happen purely because of, I don't know, control, for one of better words, especially from the large funds and the banking fraternity. Jesus, I see you're back on. So can you add to any of this in your experience or solution that you might know that exists out there for this whole ecosystem to happen?
Who, me?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I have a bad connection, and
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
sounds
hear
like it. We can go to the next.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Sorry.
So can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the point was, based on what you've heard so far, have you got any personal experiences of where this ecosystem has started, be it through APIs, through all the stakeholders, to actually make that happen? I wish I could show my screen just now with my infrastructure ecosystem, but let's just run with it. All the stakeholders is key. So how many of the stakeholders are implemented in tokenizing asset? Tokenizing asset, in my view, is not a big thing. It's just crowdfunding on the blockchain, and people own a piece of it through fractionalization or whatever. It's not a big deal. It's the real estate challenge is that whole stakeholder scenario. What experience have you got in that to comment?
Well, our business is in the Riviera Maya in Mexico, and right here we have like a explosion of tourists, and we try to make a fusion with the blockchain. So the thing that you said, that to do crowdfunding with our project, our first project, like is we care about we have a social care, so we give away a house every condo that we sell, stuff like that. I'm not going to talk all about this.
Yeah, okay, but those are point selection. What I'm trying to talk about is that whole ecosystem that Adrian and me were talking about to make this happen. So you don't. Okay, let's. Sorry to say this, but let's ask the other speakers over here apart from us. What's your view out there? Okay, I see you as PTL. Why?
Hello.
Yeah, go for it. You've changed your.
Hello.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, hi. Hi, my name is Paul Lajszczak. I'm the CEO of the Zowy. We are the blockchain platform in England, which provides the option for people to buy the properties which are not able to get a mortgage, and is all secure under the blockchain technology. From my point and my view, the first most important thing is the security, and that's coming back to the crowdfunding and in regards to the shares and tokenization for the selling the shares of the property. Most important thing is the security aspect, which in the property market is in the transactions is very important, because what we do,
absolutely,
what we do basically as a platform, we are buying under our own assets, properties in England, and then we rent to buy them to the people for the period of between 2 to 5 years, and then they are able to get the mortgage. And because we are based on the blockchain, we are able to provide the full security of the documents, full security of all the agreements, which in that way the people are very feel secure that they're able to get access to all the documents, and they understand that all the documents are stored and they got the full option to see them anytime.
Okay, but how transparent are you in terms of, the other stakeholders? That was my question over here. In terms of how do you do the conveyancing? How do you do the valuation? How do you do the buy-sell contracts? How do you do the subleasing? How do you do the custodial services? All these kinds of things that real estate has a challenge with. And then how do you do the monthly or quarterly reporting? How do you share the profits? Can they just, do you do valuations on a regular basis so people can just buy, sell the token or their equity position on an exchange?
From our perspective, we do the valuation once a year, so we only do this yearly, because the property market do not change every month pretty much. So there's not really much point to do this every month or 2 months.
Every quarter, 2 quarters, yeah.
Yes, we do this yearly, and we provide all the documents and all the conveyancing and the legal aspects on our platform. So we pretty much provide the people with all information, which we gathering from the people who are provide us the information in regard to
what kind of information? That's what I'm asking you. What type of information? Valuation reports. Okay, valuation
reports, all the legal documents, titles, leaseholds, all the legal aspects of the property, any aspects on the environment around the property. So kind of the background reports, where the property is based, who is the best tenants for the property, who is actually are able to rent the property, what the area is, what the crime statistics, postal statistics. So we try to get the more detailed reports for the investors to explain.
Okay, but who buys the property? Is it bought on a crowd fund or through an investment fund?
Yes, we got basically two businesses. One business is the Zowy, which I'm just now represent, which provides the properties for the tenant buyers, for the people who want to buy the property, so the end users. And then the second business, which is the crowdfunding place, is a platform which provides the investors option to buy the properties using the cryptocurrencies. We don't do our own token. We got basically option to pay by Bitcoin and Ethereum to buy the property shares. So the property is purchased under limited company, then they is divided into the shares, and then they sell under our platform. So people, let's say if it's a property, £500,000, they can buy £1,000 share, and then they can pay by the British pound or any other currency, or they can pay by the cryptocurrencies. And we do before all the conveyancing and all the legal aspects of the property, because we own the property before we put them on the platform. So the people buying equity.
Okay, but there's no exchange, so they don't own a token or something to say they own a slice of this and they can sell their token whenever they want.
yes, they own the slice of property. They do not own the token in that essence.
Okay, so they can only exit when the whole community says you can exit.
No, they can exit anytime on the secondary market, so they can sell them shares to other users of the portal. So that
But only on your portal, not somewhere else.
They can sell share because they own the share of the business, so they can sell the share anybody they want in the world.
Okay.
So they can
All
sell
right.
the share anybody, or they can sell on the portal.
No, I got you. I got
the
you.
agreement in place for the fixed period of time, let's say 3 years, when they actually we buy back them. Yeah.
Okay. So what Adrian and me we are talking about. So what you are doing, without to sound negative here, is a piece of a new version of crowdfunding and subleases. What Adrian may be talking about is the challenges of the whole ecosystem. Why isn't it taking off? Because of, coming back to it, and I think Damien agreed as well, the off-chain elements of it are very, very tough to address. So are there any solutions out there to do that? I don't know, maybe not through APIs, but some collaborative ways. Can this panel say, wouldn't it be nice to do a property-based collaborative API and standards for doing real estate? That's where I'm going to. Damien, do you want to add something, or Adrian?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, Mru. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. The question is it probable? So when I look, for example, at the collaborative, you mentioned the collaborative type of systems. Here in North America, we have what is called MLS, multiple listing systems, and the profession itself of the brokerage is regulated. In Europe, such MLS systems do not exist in many countries, and the profession is not regulated. So that's huge. There are huge differences, and the MLS obviously solves a lot of issues, but in areas where this MLS does not exist, there are a lot of companies that are coming, probably from a marketing perspective, to accumulate and aggregate as much data as possible, because from a buyer standpoint, you want to service the buyer's need, and that is that you would like to have access to every single property available on the market with all the parameters and be able to execute an algorithm or simply pick and choose the one that best fits you and your budget. So it is a tremendous advantage for any type of company that is able to aggregate. And I think that this is a huge promise. And the way I see this happening is eventually, and this is happening pretty much by conquering every single market. It's not happening by accommodation or by creating some sort of relationship, because everybody wants to protect the nest egg that they have, and they want to ensure that the flow of information continues to go and flow through them. In the same time, when you look at our very event was tokenized, and then every single speaker and every single participant becomes an owner. So I think that the right solution here is eventually a platform that is flexible enough at the global level, that is interoperable to allocate and accommodate all those flavors that have regulations, they don't have regulations, as well as the ways and means of transacting information, combined with the fact that at a certain point in time, you got to have a T0 moment where you want to bring online all the records, because that is the true promise, to be able at a finger tap to see if the title is it's clouded or not.
Yeah.
And for that to happen, it has to be a T0 moment where all those records are being brought online, and that is the real value that currently the entire legal system has to go, probably even through microfilms. That it's insane in today's day and age, where every single asset is being purchased. But real estate is not going to be purchased for some time until these solutions are being kept.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I laugh because 25 years ago, when I was at Sun Microsystems, we digitized the HMLR, the land registry system, and it was a very huge contract for us. And believe me, when the .com era started, it was very, very difficult to tell them in government, you must digitize your land registry and title deeds and make it available through local authorities, so conveyancing and all that can be done cheap and fast and all these things. I'd like to get you back in here, Jesus. Can you hear me? Your mic was
I'm sorry. Yeah,
your mic was a bit. So, what's your view in how you see this collaborative way of working, or what's your view on some of the comments you've heard?
Well, I unfortunately, I heard just a little bit because I have really bad connection.
Yeah, I can hear that. There's quite a bad connection. We can't hear you on and off, things like that. But let's give it another try.
Okay. Well, I don't hear most of the pretty interested comments. Like we're trying to do a fusion right here in Mexico, in the Riviera Maya on the Caribbean, with the blockchain and the real estate. The real estate is real hot right here. So I'm mixing with this technology, so it could be affordable for everyone, and to be a part of the return of investment, that it's really good to invest right here. Sorry about my English; it's my second language and it's not that good. I'm not nervous. The thing is, I have really trouble.
Okay, just say what you have to say. Yeah. So you are saying that make it affordable in Mexico. No, it's not only Mexico. You know, I gave an example 5 years ago. I tried to do in UK, because an average person today cannot have the money to invest £1,000, as we've said on the panel, and we need to bring this down to that level. Why should you go to a REIT or a fund to do this? Cut all that middleman. That was my disruptive way of doing it. So in Mexico or UK, New York, why should someone not own a piece of that tower? That was where I was going. Yeah. So in Mexico or wherever in the world, it's a challenge. So what are you doing over there that is a challenge?
Well, the challenge is that, well, at least right here, this what I'm trying to do is new. Is I can't see some other guys to see an example. You know, I'm creating this type of business, at least right here, and well, you know, the laws and there is a lot of challenge on making this what I'm trying to doing is like I do like a condo hotel with restaurants with like a shopping center, and it's all one unit that is going to divide on all the tokens owners, right?
Yeah.
And it's like when you own just an apartment right here, and you put it in a platform like Airbnb, stuff like that, you get like from 8 to 15% of return of your investment. But when I'm trying to do is I do the whole thing, the restaurants, the whole unit, and it's gonna be like well, I expect it to be like way more profitable. You know, I cannot tell you exactly because it's never done. At least right here.
Yeah, I mean, what you should do is just hook up to other parts of the world and see what other people are doing and take small examples before you go and take on the elephant, because this is not doing a payment system or a fintech wallet or an exchange. Real estate is by far, and I'm sure, you know, Damien, Adrian, and everyone will agree that it is probably one of the most complex tokenization challenge around, especially because there's a lot of off-chain related trust-based issues, and with that, I think we need to come to a close here. One line summary from all of you guys, what would you suggest? Go for it, Adrian. You're top left for me. That's why.
Yeah. Well, I think the road ahead is exciting.
Yes.
And what I can advise here is that whoever is in this moment picking up projects that are truly catering to resolve the inefficiencies and the entire ecosystem, I think is going to write the book for the next generation and how these things are going to evolve. But certainly we are at the very, very first step, and certainly we're looking forward for that T0 moment where
I think we are there for T0. We're already there for T0. There's loads and loads of tokenizing building projects, you know, around the world.
Yeah, but for those projects, Mru, I look at them as real estate projects that are in a way packaged into a marketing concept.
Correct.
That is using blockchain as a novelty until it's a true delivery of of value.
Absolutely agree. I mean, I call it the glossed up crowdfunding using blockchain as a as a theme. Anyway, comments from everyone, one-liners.
What I would say, I will be saying that basically the most important thing for the future in regards to the properties is the standardization on the blockchain, because every country has a different property legal system.
Absolutely.
And there needs to be something like the one book, rules book, where if the people want to use a blockchain technology in property transactions or real estate transactions, there needs to be one book which actually standardized across the whole world how this transaction needs to be done, what the elements needs to be provided, what the security needs to be provided, and what the question needs to be answered before any transaction is logged into the blockchain.
Yeah, very,
so
very
that's my
important.
view, yeah.
No, very important point. And by the way, you called it book. I called it my ecosystem blueprint, which I did start writing. Yeah, which I did start writing, including all the stakeholders, and I got 32 stakeholders, by the way. And then I looked at smart contracts, because there's only a handful of, I'd say, 100 legal contracts, and the lawyers make a lot of money. And I'll call them out because, there's only so many ways you can do buy-sell contracts or rent lease or whatever. And they just play around with the words, change a few things, and charge everybody a fortune. And then there's the same way of earning money and same way of doing banking. So I fully agree what you're saying. That blueprint, unfortunately, in every country is slightly different, because the lawyers, I guess, are one of the challenges that is stopping all of this. And I'm talking to a law firm just now to even say, why don't you just do a law firm smart contract repository? Anyway. Jesus, final comments?
Yeah, but I think this technology is the future, and real estate is like a really secure business. So the combination, I think, is going to be really good. It's hard, but with the right people, we can make it happen. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be the thing. Thank you.
Very hopefully kind of way. All right. Thank you very much, guys. My time is up, unless the organizer says we can continue, because I can speak about this for days and months. If anyone from the organizers listening, have we got time? Can we continue? Okay, so we are done. Yep, I've got a no. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Thank you. I hope that was useful. Anyone, just connect up with me. If you need any help, let me know. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.